KOMP 92.3, where Vegas rocks. It's Sylvia, and I'm excited for this one. I will say his name, and he will appear just like magic. I've got TNA World Champion Joe Hendry right in front of me. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So welcome to Vegas. We were talking a little bit about the weather and you being from Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How are you adjusting?
It's an adjustment. Like I say, this would be the hottest day of the year back home.
Yeah.
So it's taking a little bit of getting used to, but I'm a fan of Vegas. I like it.
Awesome. So you were at the Aviators the other day, actually.
Indeed.
And you threw out the first pitch.
I did.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think you did?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, boy.
I think that it wasn't a complete failure.
Okay.
I think that it went the entire distance. It was a little bit to the right. I think if you know, the mascot was not the mascot was not on top form. The mascot could have caught it, and they just didn't want to move at all from the base. So I was a little bit disappointed in the mascot.
Okay.
I'm gonna give myself. It's somewhere between it's not quite a. I'm gonna give myself a 5.8 on that one because it was better than bang average, but I just can't hand on heart say it was good.
Okay.
Is that fair?
It's fair.
That's fair.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're a wrestler.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So welcome to Vegas, like I said. First off, I know it's been a minute, but I have to congratulate you on your win against Nick Nemeth at TNA Genesis. That was back in January.
Yes.
What a crazy match.
Yes.
What did that match mean to you and that win mean to you?
I think that it was a very special moment. I had family there in attendance. That was amazing. And also, you know, all the stuff's happened with the song and all the memes and the popularity and things like that. That's one thing. But to actually win the world championship is a moment of recognition for you as a professional wrestler. So it was a real moment of validation. To have a huge packed arena, all going crazy for the match. It was a great feeling, and it was one of the best days in my professional wrestling career.
Is there like a different, I guess, a new pressure to be the face of the company now?
I mean, I suppose on paper there is, but I think again I just really pay attention to metrics and you know, understanding like the business aspect of it and knowing what I'm bringing to the table and going, okay, let's try this. So I'm coming at it from a very practical point of view. I'm trying to put as many people in the building as I possibly can as champion. I'm not really spending time going, oh, I wonder how I'm being perceived as champion. It's very much let's roll up our sleeves and get people into the building.
I think if you do have that in your head, you're gonna mess up, or you're gonna be in your own way.
Yeah. I think, again, with everything I do in professional wrestling, I try and think about it from a value perspective. So in terms of going, I want to be this champion, or I want to be this, or I want that, it's more about what's the biggest reaction I can give the fans. And in this case, it's about what's the best business I can do for TNA wrestling. So whereas I think going like, oh, I wonder how I'm perceived is more of like a selfish perspective, in my view.
Sure. So now you're in town for TNA Unbreakable, April 17th, Cox Pavilion. It's you and Masha against Tessa and Frankie. UNLVtickets.com is where you can get the tickets. What's the game plan for this match? Because I feel like it's kind of like a warm-up with you and Frankie because you have TNA Rebellion later this month.
Yes. So for me, for those who don't know, I've kind of had a bit of a rotator cuff situation. So for me, my goal is to get through this match and win without compromising myself. And yeah, this is a huge event for us because obviously Vegas is a big town for TNA wrestling. This is the town where I won my first championship in TNA wrestling. So obviously I want to put on a great performance for the fans, want to put on a great show, and I want to get the job done. Remain healthy for Rebellion.
Yeah, so I'm talking to Joe Hendry, TNA World Champ. TNA Unbreakable is coming to Cox Pavilion April 17th. And what's so cool is TNA is celebrating the 2025 National Champion UNLV hockey team in a special in-ring ceremony. To go get tickets, UNLVtickets.com. Can you tell us more about the UNLV celebration?
Nope.
Okay.
At least you're entertained.
We can cut that out. Oh my God. Okay. All right.
He's actually not part of it, so he's not.
I thought he was.
No, we're gonna have other
Other wrestlers. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you're the wrong person to ask about
just
that.
best to be honest, right? Yeah, yeah.
I could have sworn I saw his name like in the. It was like Matt and Jeff Hardy. I see. Okay, so I misread that part. I just asked the wrong person.
No, I assumed that. Oh, I guess I am. I just thought, I think honesty is the best policy.
You know what? I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love honesty.
Yeah.
No BS. We don't need that.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to cut that part.
No, don't cut it out. It's funny. Leave it in. Leave it in.
Okay.
It's the best part. Leave it in.
All right. So when I knew that I was talking to you, which was sometime last week, I've had I Believe in Joe Hendry stuck in my head up until now. I've had that song stuck in my head for a good week. And we'll get into you being a musician, but like I want to talk to you about the song first. Like, how did you come up with the song? Because it's a couple of years old.
Yeah, I first released it in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I decided that I wanted, I've always done my own theme songs. I decided that I wanted something with a little bit more energy. So I was like, and it has to be all about audience participation. So I was like, right, we need hand clapping. I was like, what can the audience do standing still, crammed in next to each other? I was like, well, I think they can clap, they can wave their hands. And that's pretty much it. So I made the song around getting people to wave and clap their hands. And I always find that, in the song, I just tell them what I want them to do. I want them to clap their hands. I want them to wave their hands. I want them to believe in Joe Hendry.
And they do.
Yeah. So the first half of the song is kind of modeled after International Love by Pitbull.
Okay.
And what's funny is, like I say, I used to be a musician, and we would come back from these rock concerts, most of the time not performing to a huge amount of people and thinking like, oh, maybe we'll make it one day. And we used to joke around and say, oh man, we should just do what Pitbull does and just name places.
Yeah.
So on the way back from these shows, I'd be going London and Paris and Tokyo. And then, it was 10 years later or something like that.
Yeah.
I needed to make a new theme song, and I was like, that song I made for a joke is actually pretty catchy. So I made the song for a joke probably about 15 years ago or something like that.
Oh, wow.
That part of it, and I just reworked it into what it is today. And then the second part of it, which is slower, I wanted to be a bit more like We Will Rock You, to have the hand waving and things like that. So that's why I changed the beats per minute.
There's like a whole science behind it.
Total science, yeah. So I had that original idea of the London and Paris. I had that way back in the day, but it took me, I put aside like 2 weeks full time to write it, and it was obviously time well spent.
That's insane. So what the awesome thing about this song is that it actually peaked on the charts.
Yeah.
So it peaked number 4 on the UK singles download charts, number 6 on the UK singles sales charts, and it peaked number 4 on the official Big Top 40s charts. So we're talking about like a top 10 song here.
Yeah.
You got the help of YouTube to figure out how to chart.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
You can find anything on YouTube.
I knew I needed to promote it, and there was a video about these guys who they'd been given, I wish I could remember what, it was for the video game Saints Row. Saints Row gave them like a budget to promote the song, to promote the game, and they were like, you know what, let's take all the budget and try and get a song in the charts. And I watched that video, and that was when I kind of found out how many units you'd need to actually do to chart, and the kind of what you'd need to do, and then that kind of got the ideas flowing, and I was like, all right, let's do it.
You market yourself so well.
Thank you.
It has to be like a masterclass. I would gladly attend it.
Thank you.
The branding and the viral songs, like, are younger wrestlers going to you for advice? Because I feel like social media is such a big part nowadays, especially with wrestling. I get more,
you
can't escape from it.
So I get more people asking me for advice in other companies than my own company.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I have DMs from wrestlers all over the world asking,
like, how do you do this? And
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I spend quite a bit of my time helping other wrestlers with this stuff.
Now, are they older than you? Because it's tough.
I mean, I'm pretty old, so.
You're not pretty old, because
pretty
we're the
old.
same age.
Okay.
We're the same age.
Okay.
So if you call yourself old, you're actually calling me old.
No, but I'm going to be 37 in a few weeks. So that's what I meant,
Get out of here. You're not old.
Well, okay. For wrestling, I am. For wrestling.
Okay. I guess.
Not old, but just like, Yeah, I mean, people actually some older, some younger, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were like we said, you started as a musician.
Yeah.
You were in a band called Lost in Audio.
Wait, hang on a second.
What?
You're 36.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, come on.
89 February.
I refuse to deal with liars.
I will show you my
I
license.
refuse to deal with liars.
I'm
gonna
not
walk
lying.
out.
I will show you my ID.
Ross, we gotta go.
Oh,
We
no,
gotta
you get,
go.
get out
We
of
gotta
here.
go.
Well, no, stay here. But
Yeah,
like,
no.
yeah.
I will not converse with liars. But anyway, carry on.
Lost in Audio. Is it true that you were almost signed to Sony?
Yeah, I mean, so
How did that happen? Or like,
so
tell
we
me the
made
story.
like a connection with an exec at Sony. This is when I think they were in, was it Madison? What do you call it in New York? Madison. Madison Avenue. Yes.
Okay.
The Sony building. We went out there and they were like, yeah, you know what? We're in a bit of a recession right now. If it had been 5 years ago, we would have given you a 2-album deal just to see how you got on. But
Dang.
yeah, we don't really have links with the UK subsidiary. So, you know, if you had like, and they said something like, if you had like 100,000 hits or something like that, you know, maybe we'd consider it. And the funny thing is, I now have, you know, like bazillions. So it is funny looking back.
I was gonna say, like,
And I'll tell you what else is awesome is I put out the song myself. I paid someone the grand sum of like £50, which is less than $100, to distribute the song, and I
wow.
keep all the sales and royalties.
Do you think sales or Sony would you
What's
know, do you think Sony would come and like reach out to you?
Yeah, it's a hit
Have
song.
they?
No, reach out. I thought you said do the deal.
Well, would they
I've
do the
not-
deal?
I actually have not heard from any record
they're
labels
missing
trying to
out.
sign me, but there wouldn't be a reason for me to at this point.
At this point, yeah.
because I can market it myself. I don't know what a label brings to the table. Distribution, you can do it yourself, and marketing is the other big function. You know, someone would put you on tour supporting someone else, but I do my own marketing with zero spend. It's all organic reach, so I just don't really know what a label would do for me at this point. Maybe maybe there is something, I don't know. I'm not opposed to it, but I haven't had any conversations with record labels.
Isn't that cool to just be in that position to be like, I don't need a record label?
It's madness. My life is just madness. It's total madness.
That's insane.
I can't compute all of the amazing things that happen to me on a daily basis. You almost feel guilty sometimes, like, because I'm like, oh, everything I wanted is like, so I've been working so hard for so long. I've been like performing in some capacity pretty much full time since I was 15, so 21 years.
Wow.
And you know, for it to all kind of come at once, you know, I thought I just failed at music, you know. And then so to get validation in wrestling and music, it's just like, you know, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm very grateful and I don't take it for granted for a second.
Awesome. So TNA World Champ Joe Hendry is in studio with me. TNA Unbreakable is going to be at the Cox Pavilion April 17th. They're also celebrating the 2025 National Champion UNLV hockey team and a special in-ring ceremony. UNLVtickets.com is where you can get your tickets. It's 2013. You're working at a regular job, but you tell them that you need time off because you need to go train.
Wow, you've really done your research.
I did.
Yeah.
Bobby Brookside.
Robbie Brookside.
Robbie Brookside, yes. Legendary UK wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, you knew it was going to be a risk because you're telling your job that I think you would just...
Yep, just started. I'd been there like a week or something like that.
And you're like, no, I got to do this.
Yeah. If you need to fire me, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, the balls
Yeah.
to say that. But I feel like you had such a knowing. What was it about that moment that you just made you trust your gut in this?
It's funny. There's a guy called Dorian Yates who was Mr. Olympia in bodybuilding. He's one of in the top 5 bodybuilders of all time. And I went to train with him. And his mindset has had a big influence on me. And he says, he's like, you know, sometimes I think back, and he says, and I have respect for that young person that I was, just having the balls to say that, or having the balls to do that. And I kind of look back and I'm like, damn, with no leverage, no reason to do so.
There's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
Yeah.
You know, it would have I just was completely unafraid. And I don't really know why. I think part of it was, because I didn't really have much going on, you know. I was in debt. I'd kind of just got this job. Nothing was really going right, so it just felt like I was starting from a base of zero. You know, I just didn't really have anything going on. So if I failed, it was like, okay, I'll be in a little bit more debt, I guess. But, yeah, I wouldn't advise anyone to do it that way, but it worked for me. And the thing is, though, I completely believed in what I was doing for whatever reason. I don't know why. I just always thought I'd be doing this stuff.
I feel like it's a manifestation sort of thing where it's like it's just a knowing.
It's hard for me not to think that there's something to that.
Yeah.
When I think about the last year for me, it's really hard for me to think that there aren't greater forces at play.
Absolutely. So you debut in ICW, which is Insane Championship Wrestling. Your first singles match outside of training is in a WWE ring.
Yeah.
And you're doing that in front of William Regal and CM Punk.
Yeah.
What a hell of a singles match.
Yeah, so it was empty. Imagine the pressure, empty arena, so there's no crowd reaction. It was before the doors opened. It was CM Punk, William Regal, Paul Heyman, Fit Finlay.
Oh my God.
So no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah,
not
and
at all.
I hadn't had a full singles match. But what was really cool is the guy who I wrestled in this tryout match, he went, "You haven't even had a full singles match yet." And it was like, that was a really generous thing for him to do, because what he did there was completely reduce the expectation of me to zero. So that was a good experience. I got the chance to meet a lot of people, got a lot of great advice that I used to kind of carve the path that I'm on. And it was, you'll only kind of walk into that environment for the first time once, It was pretty cool just seeing all the legendary figures backstage for the first time. That was a real moment, but it's pretty crazy to think how long ago that was.
So prior to that, how long had you been training?
So I started training in January of 2013. That was November of 2013.
Ooh. So that was
pretty fast.
That was pretty fast. Yeah. So what do you remember feeling in that moment? I mean, I know we said no pressure, but
So it was like so ridiculous. For some reason, I didn't feel that much pressure on that occasion because it was like it had gone past the point of being a fathomable thing that could happen.
Like it was just so
it was surreal.
Off the wall.
It was surreal. Yeah, I remember when I won my first championship in TNA and that was coming back from, I was originally signed to Ring of Honor. COVID happened. I had to go back home. So that all falls through. I had a couple of years of being at home, having to reestablish myself on the independent scene back home, which was like, there was only like 2 promotions that would use me at the time in the entire UK. So I had to build up from nothing. And then I come to TNA, and on my second show, I'm winning a championship, in Vegas. So that felt like, oh, well, I've died, and or we live in a simulation. Yeah. And now this is we're just in ridiculous land now. Like I just can't fathom all the things that have happened to me.
I think it's just the hard work that you put into it.
It is hard work, but the main element I would say that I understand now that I didn't understand before is the element of timing.
Okay. And
also understanding other parties' point of view. So, for example, trying to look at things from a less selfish point of view. So instead of, again, going, I want, thinking about what does the other party want? What value can I give type thing. But the element of timing, I would say, is the critical element that I've learned. When to make that chess move, when to sit tight, when to show patience, when to show aggression.
Yeah.
That are you have to make bold moves at this level in the game, but they have to be strategic.
Absolutely. So looking back at that kid as currently your TNA World Champ, what do you say to that version of Joe Hendry? Like, because he's not only become the World Champ, but he was in this year's Royal Rumble. So many of your peers have so many great things to say about you. You've had the viral song, like it's been a wild ride for you. So what do you say to that version?
Nothing. I wouldn't say a thing. Because I believe in the butterfly effect. If I say one comment, I could derail the whole thing. I'd say nothing. I'd sit tight and watch the show.
Yeah. You'd be like, you're not going to be like, oh, man.
No.
Give it like 6 years.
No, I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything because I'm a great believer in that, everything happens the way it's supposed to. Yeah, there's nothing I would say to my former self. I have very few. I do have some regrets, but very few.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, how long have you been in wrestling? About 10 years? 12 years?
12, yeah. That's
a short time.
I guess, yeah.
That's a pretty short time.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Because I've seen other guys that are like 20 years. They started when they were 15. So okay, you're not gonna say anything. Just keep it the way it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything. I would just observe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything.
I'm talking to Joe Hendry, TNA World Champ. TNA Unbreakable is coming to Cox Pavilion April 17th. Get your tickets now at unlvtickets.com. So when I'm watching wrestling and I see these insane matches and the sacrifices that you guys put your bodies through, I'm always curious, what's the recovery like afterward? Maybe you personally, what do you do to just like not feel it the next day?
So one thing that I'm really grateful for is at TNA we have the ability to get like a sports massage, and we also have our ringside doctor as well, who is Asa chiropractic? Is that what you call it? Yeah. So we have those facilities backstage, and making sure that I get that every show. It can be difficult because, again, being the champion, you're always doing things, you're always busy. But I really do try and make it a priority now to see both those people each time we're at the show. That's a really good way to do it. Another thing that we do is we stay up till 4 a.m. in the hotel lobby talking nonsense, which actually sounds completely counterproductive. But when you're on these shows, you just kind of accept that you're going to be hitting the ground running. So I've learned now that the social aspect of it is very important. I never used to socialize. I never used to be a part of the group in that way. Whereas now I socialize at every show.
Were you more of an introvert, or are more of an introvert?
I was less secure in my position, so I wanted to evade. I thought, if I'm not, I know this sounds crazy, but I was like, if I keep myself to myself and I'm just all business, I don't talk to anybody, then I can't make any mistakes, type thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because I just, I tended to, and probably still do to some extent, but I just felt like I always rubbed people the wrong way, you know? So I just kind of did a lot of keeping myself to myself.
Yeah, you were a little scared.
Man, I've never had it put to me like that, but I guess if we're in therapy, I guess maybe so.
It's fine. You know? This is free therapy.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Wow. Okay. So before I let you go, I want to do some rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Okay. Coffee first or gym first?
Coffee first.
Okay. Last song that you listened to that wasn't your own? Do you listen to your own songs?
What was the last song I listened to? It's probably Trust by Tremonti.
Oh, I love Tremonti.
Yeah, me too.
He's good. Most underrated wrestler right now?
I'm going to get annoyed at myself because I'll have a different answer. I'll forget the most... Actually, it's probably Dries. Man like Dries. I'd like to see him get some more opportunities.
Okay. Craziest fan interaction you've ever had? And I know there's... I can only imagine. I can only imagine, but maybe one that sticks like you... First thing off the top of your head.
Craziest fan interaction I've ever had.
Because wrestling fans, I mean, they're pretty...
Yeah, so...
They can be intense.
Yeah, I mean, there's some... Look, most fans are amazing, to be honest.
Of course.
With you. Like 99.9% of fans are absolutely awesome. There's only been a few situations where I've had to deal with aggressive people. The one that's the worst, to be honest with you, I'd love to give you a comedic one, and I'm sure there is an example. Some people have brought some very strange things for me to sign, I would say, and some strange gifts as well. The roster will know who I'm talking about. But there's someone in the UK who likes to make custom-made underpants for the male wrestlers, which, that's a little strange. You know? And we prefer that she didn't do that.
Oh, no.
So that's probably the weirdest.
Okay.
I've had to deal with the one that was the most upsetting is I remember in the UK where I was, doing a signing and I'm not charging a lot of money at the time. This is a while ago. It was like $15 or something like that.
Sure.
And there was this dad with his kid, and he just said, he swore at me. Like when he said, wait, he went, picture. And he just pointed to something. He just aggressively said, picture, as in like, take the picture.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, it's £10 or whatever it was. And he swore at me. and he started getting aggressive, and I was really it really affected me because I had to be very careful about what I said next
Mm-hmm.
because I have to try and de-escalate, but also not say anything to embarrass the kid or the dad too
Mm-hmm.
much.
It's
And
a sticky situation that you're in.
yes, and it made me concerned for the kid after that
Yeah.
because I think sorry to bring down the mood. It was just you're asking me for this one. That's one that
Yeah.
stuck out. That's been the only one that really like affected me
Mm-hmm.
and made me sad.
Yeah.
So I did end up like I'd signing something for the kid just
Just to appease.
yeah,
Just to de-escalate.
so that's the only like really tough one.
Mm-hmm.
That I had probably one of my favorite ones the other day, which was when I was at C2E2 in Chicago, and about 10 people came up dressed as Joe Hendry, and we all did the song together, and it went viral on social media. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
another viral hit.
I gave them their money back for the meet and greet. I was like, I can't charge you for this.
Yeah,
I've got,
it's too good.
Yeah, it's too good. Can't charge you. And she actually posted it. I saw she posted a video of it on YouTube, and she was like, he gave me the money back, and I actually really needed that. So that's great. So I was like,
okay.
all
Well,
right,
there you go.
Yeah, everybody won.
Everybody won.
Yeah.
One wrestler you would not want to face in karaoke.
Ooh, probably. Let me think about this. Let me think about this. Who I would not want to face.
Yeah.
MJF's a pretty good singer.
Is he really?
And the expectation would be on me to be a better singer, whereas MJF's pretty good.
I didn't even know he could sing.
Yeah, so he's got to be on there. I think Jericho's gonna command the crowd with his charisma. The Rock's a pretty good singer. You know what I mean?
He was a Moana.
Yeah. Look, I can't. If he goes, look, my go-to is The Gambler, right?
Okay.
By Kenny Rogers, and I'll tell you, I can take on just about anybody. But if The Rock goes up there and sings Moana, I'm toast.
You're like,
I'm toast.
Ah, crap.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you win that? You can't.
Yeah.
So you know what? The main answer. Let's go for The Rock.
Okay, fair enough. Guilty pleasure TV show.
King of Queens.
Okay.
It upsets me that no one rates this show. It's very funny. No one thinks it is, but I think it's funny.
I've caught a few episodes. It's okay.
Well, I love how you just say it's okay.
It's okay.
As if you are the overriding judge. You can just say it's okay. What gives you that authority?
I just said so.
What gives your opinion? Because you said
because
so.
I said so. That's all I got.
Are you Stone Cold Steve Austin just because you said so?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think King of Queens is funny because the premise is always funny. I don't think I'm going to win this argument. But you did ask for my guilty pleasure, so that's it. I think King of Queens is funnier than people give it credit for.
Okay.
Is it my absolute favorite show? No, but it's better than people think it is.
Okay.
What's yours?
My guilty pleasure?
Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry. Below Deck is my guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Have you seen Below Deck?
No.
Fantastic. Below Deck it's about people who run a boat. So it's like about all this.
Is it a reality show?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like they have like, don't be judgmental.
I was going to tell you my guilty pleasure.
Okay, go for it.
Flavor of Love.
What's Flavor of Love?
Oh my God. It's so good. It's
What's
like from the
Flavor of
2010s.
Okay.
Do you know the rapper Flavor Flav?
Yeah.
Okay. So he had a show where it was kind of like The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And he would have a bunch of women.
Okay.
And it's basically The Bachelor.
So he set up his own TV show and he's like, I'm going to have a bunch of women competing for my affections.
Yes.
And what?
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
There was Rock of Love with Bret Michaels.
I can see why he went for that concept. I can see that. Actually, there was one show on MTV where it was like they were all competing to get like a bit part in the Saw film. Do you know what I'm talking about?
In the what?
In the Saw films.
Yeah.
So,
it was like, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the name of it.
That was underrated. The drama on that was insane. Actually, there's another one.
So long
there's
ago.
another one from way back in the day called Eliminate, where they would have a bunch of people trying to date someone in the same day, and she would like eliminate a guy like every round, and there'd be like one dude at the end. That was always like insane, peak MTV drama.
Do you remember the MTV show? I like that we're talking about like MTV shows, but there was one I think it was like Date My Daughter.
Never seen that one.
No. So it was basically a guy would go on a date with like the mom,
Okay.
and I think it was like 3, and then he had to pick which daughter he would date based on the date with the mom. It was weird.
Yeah, it's messy.
But
Yeah,
that was a dumb show too.
yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, if I'm the producer and someone comes in with that concept, I'll go, hang on a second. What's going on? Why have you come to me with this concept?
It's a little milfy.
Yeah.
It's a little milfy.
A little what, sorry?
Milfy.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I can't.
What? What, sorry? I'm from Scotland. I don't know.
You know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I'm going to have to censor this one. Mother, I'd like to fuck. I can't believe you never heard that.
I can't believe I just got you to say that on the radio.
You knew what that was. Yes, you did.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
God dang. I got bamboozled. Anyway. You're good, you. You're good. Go to hype song.
Go to what?
Hype song.
Okay. Nice change of subject there.
Listen, I just said, Mother, I'd like to fuck on this interview. We got to go. We got to. Next one. Next one.
Ross, you're going to have to step in and call this interview. I think this is getting out of hand over here. It's getting out of hand.
Ross didn't understand what he was getting himself into when he reached out.
Neither did I. Hype song. Okay. I'm too distracted. I can't think about that now.
It's about the MILF, I know.
My own song. There you go.
Okay. Fair enough.
That is my hype song.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good hype song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Match that you'd love to have but hasn't happened yet.
The fans know.
Okay.
I can't say. No, I'm not gonna say. For the fans, I've got 5 or 6 dream matches. And I've been very fortunate to have a couple of them. So I've wrestled. I'll tell you one I haven't mentioned much before. I've wrestled Kurt Angle. I would love to wrestle
Kurt Angle. Really quick. Kurt Angle was kind of like one of your first matches, correct?
Yeah. So 3 years in the business, I wrestled Kurt Angle. I would really like to wrestle Chris Jericho.
Oh God, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be a good match.
Yeah.
And plus, you being a musician, him being a musician, I can't imagine the songs.
Yeah.
Especially the songs that you make up, I guess, to roast people beforehand. So I can't imagine. Have you thought about songs for him to roast?
Yeah. I would have to do a version of his song.
Oh God, because we're talking about like manifestations. Yeah. So like you're already thinking about it.
There are a lot of wrestlers who have not faced who I would face, who I already have some idea. I have a rough ballpark idea of what I would do, but I don't want to like put in all the creative energy if something like that doesn't happen. Because we're in different companies, you never know how stars will align. But I would love to wrestle Chris Jericho, and I'm sure there would be some fun in games with theme songs.
That'd be so much fun.
If he parodied mine, that'd be pretty funny.
I can't imagine. And lastly, what is the best advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've ever received. I could give you a wrestling one. I've had so many amazing pieces of advice in pro wrestling, but actually the best piece of advice I ever got was from a friend who I was going through a very tough time, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember them just going, hey, it will be okay though, right? And I was like, what do you mean? How does that help? No, but it will be okay. Like, regardless of what happens, you're going to be okay. And just having someone to go, oh, like, no matter what happens, it will be okay. I know that can sound and feel totally unhelpful.
Yeah.
There was actually another really close one as well when this is a different person, very similar piece of advice. When I was going through another very tough time, and they says, I know that you won't believe me, but I promise you in time, this will be okay. So this situation will be okay. It's like, no, I don't believe you. It will never be okay. It'll always feel terrible. No. It will be okay.
I think you had to like have someone get you out of your own head, and for them to just say, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I guess.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I loved talking to you. You're so much fun. Thank you so much for coming out. TNA Unbreakable is happening April 17th at Cox Pavilion. Again, congratulations on all the success. I'm looking forward to seeing everything that you do and watch Flavor of Love.
I will do. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope that my piece of advice to you is to work on less profanities in the interview next time.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, I will. Okay, you know what? I will say, this is the first interview that I've ever had profanities.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I don't cuss in.
Well, you do now.
I mean, I cuss a lot, but
Yeah.
I don't cuss in interviews.
Well, you do now.
I
You've done
do
it
now.
multiple times today. So that's like saying, that's like a murderer saying, I don't murder people. You know? You swear in interviews. That's not a
Just
thing.
once.
No, you'd said it, I think 3 times. At least.
What did I say? I forgot.
I'm not going to say it.
I
I'm not going to
forgot.
fall for the same thing you did.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Again,
you.
UNLVtickets.com is where you can get your tickets for TNA Unbreakable, and we'll see you out there, my friend.
Thanks for having me.